Many of you know me as the host of The Really Real Deal. I can hear it in the background, the intro. Okay, thank you, Akil. And this time I want to thank my wonderful engineer, Akil. Okay, yeah, that was a little intro from a previous year when we did this. I also want to say thank you to the fine folks at Comcast. This is, I think, perhaps my fourth year doing this, third or fourth year. I think it's the fourth year. And we always get very, very good response when we do this. I enjoy doing it. And, you know, it doesn't make sense to research and have an interest in things and have what I think is a pretty good understanding of things, and then to just keep that to oneself. And so there's just so many patriotic Americans out here, Tea Partiers, people who run for office, school teachers, those that particularly, I should say, those that view teaching as more of an avocation than a profession. There's just so many people, soldiers, there's so many people that love this country and they're doing their part to make sure that the dream of America would survive. And but now the theme of my program tonight is, and we touched on this a little bit on my radio program on 990 AM WLEE today. And for those of you who are not aware of that, 5 to 6 p.m. I'm there every Wednesday. And also you can check, I have an archive with maybe close to 300 interviews at blogtalk.com. And so just Google Brother Craig the Hatchet Man, you can pull all that up. But for now, we're going to, for the next 6 weeks, be talking about the question, is America living in American-style communism right now? And, you know, years ago when I started out on this, one of my goals was to save the republic, or to do my part, to put my shoulder to the wheel and just carry my weight, push to try to, quote unquote, save the republic. Now, are we to the place now where we've gone past saving the republic and we have to worry more about restoring the republic? And so we're going to talk about that for the next 6 weeks. And the big news right now is, you know, some people call it the Affordable Care Act. Some people call it Obamacare. I tend to call it Obama scam. It was not designed, you know, that some of you may think, well, he's being flippant or facetious to say, well, Obama doesn't care. I really do not think Obama cares about average, everyday, ordinary Americans. I think Democrats in general, and this particular Democrat in particular, Barack Hussein Obama, I think he and they tend to get a pass if you were to ask the average, relatively uninformed citizen who's just, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way, I only mean it as a person who is maybe a working class person, more concerned with their own kitchen table issues than they are with the types of things that interest me. Politics, you know, what's happening in society, what are going to be the long-term ramifications of current trends. These are things that I'm interested in. Most people are not interested in that, okay? So, but these people, they vote as they have a right to. These people, they have children that they're going to hand off a certain mindset to in many cases. And so one of my goals is to be a font of information to these people, to participate in the national conversation, to be a part of the competitive marketplace of ideas. And I think more and more patriotic Americans, more and more Christians need to get involved in that, because if we just sit back and complain, one of the big complaints I hear often from Christians and conservatives is, you know, they worry that the left, the center left of this country, that they dominate media, they dominate academia. More and more and more, they're dominating the pulpit. Okay, I call them pulpit pimps. And you know, you don't have these paint peeling pastors that teach the word of God so hard that they peel the paint off the wall. I mean, everyone's seem to be on board with the New World Order. And so we don't really have a right to complain if we're not going to be a part of the solution, if we're not going to participate in the national conversation. Starting right with your kitchen table, your family, and be the priest of your house, and be the watchman on the wall of your own home. Okay, be the watchman on the wall in your own community, and and then we can look at folk being the watchman on the wall for the entire society. And we do have such people out here. We have excellent people. But it seems in recent years that just like a termite could bring down a big, beautiful home, that bit by bit by bit, there has been a gnawing away at the very foundations of our society. And so a part of what I try to do as a radio commentator, as a news analyst, as president of the First Amendment, Inc., I do when I go out speaking before groups, and when I'm here with you on Comcast. And a part of what I do is try to encourage people to peel away the layers of falsehood. People have been lulled to sleep, and you really, really do, as Dr. Alveda C. King told me once when I was interviewing her, the society really, really does need a hatchet man. And so that's what I try to do. And I encourage you in your own way to do likewise. So, but now to the question of the evening, are we living in American style communism? I would have to say, obviously, it would either have to be a yes, or we're very, very long way deeply toward a yes. And so, but when people hear that word communism, that's like a boogeyman word. And that's a type of word that people, I can remember when Obama first hit the scene, and people were saying, well, he's a communist. Well, I mean, he's a self-described community organizer, communist, okay? And then all of his friends, associates, family members, all of his influences, they're all communist, okay? His mentor, Frank Marshall Davis, some people say that is also his actual biological father, and not Barack Hussein Obama Sr., but Frank Marshall Davis. It looks just like him. And the people that he met in Chicago, a lot of the people that he met on these college campuses, whether it's Occidental or Harvard, Professor Derek Bell, the list is on and on and on. And many of you will be familiar with a lot of those names, names like Bill Ayers, Bernardine Dohrn. These are people that are real communists. This is not a conservative Christian saying that because of their beliefs, because they're more to the left and I'm way out here to the right, that I'm saying they're a communist. No, Frank Marshall Davis had an actual card, literally a card-carrying communist, okay? And quite often people will just say that as a throwaway about a particular actor or a particular politician or a particular person who's somewhat of what you might call a left-wing. You would have to say maybe an idiot. But these people that are destroying the nation, they are not idiots per se. Now, their ideology may appear to normal people as it's idiotic, but there's a method to what they're doing, and they're being very effective. And remember now, Khrushchev said in reference to the future of America versus Russia, that he said, we will bury you, and we will bury you from within, and that your grandchildren will live under communism. Now, was Khrushchev correct? Okay, because on the surface, it seemed that, hey, the Berlin Wall came crumbling down thanks to Ronald Reagan, good, strong, Christian, unafraid, unapologetic, conservative, Christian conservative, totally unapologetic, not a non-politician, okay, a guy who really believed in his bones everything that he said. He didn't need to be coached. He didn't need to pre-poll test what he was going to say. And we've really not had a really, really firm president who really understood the difference between good and evil and had the courage to call it that. There was one time when George W. Bush did that, and only one time. But for the most part, since Ronald Reagan, we've not had that. And so here we are, we find ourselves in 2014. We have the healthcare system. Now, Lenin said universal healthcare. Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Universal health care is the keystone to the archway of socialism. And the purpose of socialism is communism. And now we have many soldiers, millions died in World War II, many from right here in America. And so there are probably people listening and watching this very broadcast who have family members that died in World War II. A father, a grandfather, an uncle, a great uncle, a husband, a wife, probably. And so they died for what reason? Fighting what? Communism. Good versus evil. And so here we are, the children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, embracing communism. But folks don't want to say it's communism because why? Look at how the race card is played. First black president, you can't say he's a communist. Well, why can you not say he's a communist? Okay? You can say something good about him, and we all have something good and bad. Every president from George Washington to George Bush was criticized. Now, this one, president number 44, if you criticize him, somehow you're some kind of racist or a crazy person. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And so this is why we have this thing called the First Amendment here. And this is why I'm president of the First Amendment, Inc. This is the United States Constitution. Now, if you're not going to use the Constitution, what good is it? The Constitution in and of itself is not going to save this nation. This Bible in and of itself is not going to save this nation. It's the application of this that's going to save the nation. It's the application of the Constitution that's going to save this nation. Okay? To have a Constitution, to have a Bible, to have faith and not use them when there's an obvious case crying out for their use, and not just in the White House with the immorality all over this nation. It's crying out for their use. Okay? Even the very Supreme Court that Chief Justice Roberts violated this Constitution to the point where he is worthy of impeachment, just as Barack Obama is worthy of impeachment. Is anyone going to impeach either of them? I doubt it seriously. No one's going to impeach Chief Justice John Roberts, and no one is going to impeach Barack Hussein Obama. And so when we open the phone lines up, don't call up here and say that I'm partial against Democrats. Okay? Judge Roberts was supposed to be a conservative. He is not a conservative. I don't know what you would call him. He is not a conservative. He is certainly not a constitutional conservative. He is certainly not a libertarian conservative. No, he is not. And so here we have the powerful. We have Obama. We have on the Democrat side. We have on the conservative / established Republican side, Chief Justice Roberts. We have the multimillionaires whom the Democrats have told us for my entire lifetime now. My entire lifetime, I've heard this, that the Democrats are in favor of the common working person, the ordinary man and woman, and that the Republicans, on the other hand, they're only interested in looking out for the rich, the well-connected, the powerful. And last time I checked, this Obama scam, and I refuse to call it Obamacare. Obama scam is rich people and Obama reaching into the pockets of productive Americans, destroying their insurance, forcing them to go on to exchanges to purchase insurance that costs, in some cases, 2 and 3 times as much. And in all cases, having deductibles that are 2, 3, 4, and 5 times as high. There are people out here, hardworking small business owners who don't have a big corporation where they can have a plan that covers 500 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. They have to buy their own plan for their own family. They might have to buy it for a few employees. These people are losing their insurance plans through to no fault of their own. They're paying their own way. They're hardworking Americans. They pay their taxes. And then the replacement plans that they are forced to buy. Now, this is going to happen to you out there who have a job insurance plan sooner or later. But the first group that they're taking out are the people that were purchasing their own insurance. And these people are having had plans where they will have the deductible where it would suit them. $500, $1,000, $1,500. And they're having a purchase plans where the deductible is $5,000, $6,000, in some cases $10,000. Imagine that. You're going to pay thousands of dollars into a pot, and then when you finally do get sick, you got to spend the first $10,000 out of your pocket, and then the insurance kicks in, and this insurance costs you far, far more. This is communism, folks. This is communism. This is working. This is progressivism. This is American-style communism. Progressivism is defined as communism that goes in incremental progressive steps, not the type of communism where goose-stepping goons come out with machine guns and take over overnight, because they know that, well, America would not tolerate that. They would tolerate that no more than a frog would tolerate being tossed into a boiling pot of water. He'd jump out and he'd survive. He'd be a little scalded, but he'd survive. And they have you thinking that a progressive politician is a politician that believes in progress. And then so a guy like me that hates progressive politicians, what? I don't believe in progress. I want to ride a horse or drive a Model T, or use a cell phone this big and not use one of these modern cell phones. I don't believe in progress. But this is the mindlessness, and this is the level of the general public due to the tearing down of education, the taking over, the monopolizing, the hatred towards charter schools. Here in Virginia, we have 5 charter schools in the entire state. 5. In New York City, Democrat Blasio shutting down highly successful charter schools with an 82% success rate in an area where the public schools are failing people. In Louisiana, where they had to rebuild from scratch due to Hurricane Katrina and having tremendous success with charter schools, the Obama administration is suing them. Okay? And so this is how we're getting this communism. Because the educational establishment has dumbed down education. The SETs now, I found out they did not require metaphors on the SAT since 2004, folks. I had no idea until I did some research. And now they're going to not require you to write an essay on the SAT. No essay, okay? Just dumb down, dumb down, dumb down. Okay, and now you have the new person that Obama has put in at the education department, a department that needs to be shut down totally, just eliminate it and let the states and the localities and the individual families handle educating their children. Okay, because remember now, we didn't even have an education department until 1978. How did America go from a new country to a third world country to being the sole superpower? How did we accomplish all that without an education department? And then since we've had an education department, we're moving towards communism, because this is government takeover. This is indoctrinating and programming children. This is teaching them that your country is wicked. The free enterprise system is a bunch of rich people that are stealing from you. And so they teach you to hate business and love government. And so this is how we get to a place where an empty suit like Barack Obama can be elected twice. Okay? Communism, American style. And the simple fact of the matter is that the reason that people believe that quote unquote universal health care and those that advocate for it are somehow doing you a favor. Okay, they don't understand how to use reasoning. They lack the ability to reason things out. Just because someone says that I'm doing X, Y, Z for your good, that does not make it so. They could be doing X, Y, Z for an ulterior motive. And if you look at nations that have had these type of takeovers, Soviet Union, China, Cuba, Western Europe is a socialist, just a great big socialist mess. Everyone wanting to live at the expense of his fellow countrymen, his or her fellow countrymen. And so people are wanting to go to government to say, I want you to overtax that person and pay for some benefit for me. And I want you to don't tax me now. And so that's what communism does. It's divisive. It pits groups of people against one another. Free enterprise, on the other hand, encourages cooperation. This Constitution, Clause 5 to the First Amendment, guarantees us the right of free association as long as it's for peaceful purposes, which means a group of people can come together to form a medical practice. A group of people can come together to form a hospital. A group of people can come together to form a legal practice. A group of people came together to form Comcast. This used to be Continental Cable. And Continental Cable got bought by a company, which was what? A peaceful merging of two companies. Then another company bought them again. People cooperating without coercion by the government. They could have walked away and they could have said no. Continental Cable could have said no. We like being just in this small part of the country. We don't want to be a part of a bigger conglomerate. But in each case, they said yes to their own mutual benefit. And so you have what? Peaceful cooperation. The United States Constitution. Clause 5 to the First Amendment. The government shall make no law against, and then it lists them out. Shall, and this is why the government hates this. The Bill of Rights to this Constitution, the amendments to this Constitution says government shall not, cannot, must not, and will not. It puts you above the government. You don't want that though. You don't want to be above the government. You want to be a slave. There's precedent for this. When Harriet Tubman came back and forth into slave states and get a new group each time, and she did this over and over and over again, there were occasions when people got cold feet and wanted to go back to massa. Now, I can't do this. Conservatives and Christians, we can't do this. But Harriet could do it. She just pull her revolver out and say, you going to be free or you going to be dead? Make a choice. And so this is where we are. This gives you freedom. This gives you freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there also is liberty. God created you with free will. And if you doubt that, all you have to do is become a parent, okay? Any mother and father can tell you, yes, the hatchet man is right. Children are born with free will, okay? Proud father of two, and quite a few grandbabies running around now. So, yeah, that's a gift from God, okay? But it's Satan that does not want you to be free. It's Satan that will tempt you and say, hey, you don't need to go into free enterprise. That's risky. You might succeed, you might not succeed. Why don't you just lay back and hire your congressman, vote for the right guy, and he'll go and he'll take money from this one and give it to you. And if once he runs out of taking money, then he'll borrow money that your children and your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will have to pay back. Now, but you'll be dead and gone. Your grandchildren will pay the bill, okay? So that's what the devil whispers into people's ears. And then once they borrow all the money they can borrow, then they'll print money. Now, you and I, we can't print money. We'd go to jail. It's called counterfeiting. But the government can print money. They have a cute little name for it. They call it quantitative easing. It's printing money, which makes the amount of money in circulation go up, which makes each dollar worth less. So when you go to the grocery store or to the gas station, what you purchase, you have to use what? More of those dollars that have been watered down. Because the government that you love, the government that you think loves you, is printing money and giving it to who? Millionaires. Millionaires. But you've been taught that millionaires are hooked up with Republicans over on the right, and over on the left, the Democrats are hooked up with the common man, the poor man. Simply not true. Simply not true. And so over the next 5 weeks now, we're going to go into the economics. And let's put the phone number up, Akil, and we'll see if any of our viewers would like to participate in tonight's program. And so what is going on in this nation, and Obama scam is making big news. The president is running around, all the lapdog media. You know, and the First Amendment protects the freedom of the press. There is no freedom in the press. They're all lapdogs. They're all lapdogs. Not one member of the press wanted to question the numbers that the administration put out. The administration put all these phony numbers out. And there's no trust. And we're gonna take a call here. You're on live.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm wonderfully well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Listen, you got an interesting spin on the way things actually work.
Spin,
well,
okay.
Maybe I could clarify.
I thought it was my view, which I'm entitled to just like you. Okay, but it's a spin. Okay, inform us, sir.
Okay. Listen.
That's fine. It's fair. Hey, brother, I believe in the freedom of the open marketplace of ideas. You go right ahead.
I understand. Listen, one of the things I think we have to understand is that there has been a change in the economy. Back just 20 years ago, there was a situation where we have monopoly finance capitalism, which existed in this country.
Hold on there. Monopoly finance capitalism. What in the world is that?
Okay, let me explain to you what monopoly finance capitalism is. What that means is that corporations begin to take more and more control in terms of the economy. Historically, there was a relationship between businesses and corporations and government. But what happens is that businesses...
Sir, who's making all the money off of Obama scam right now? Big multi-million-dollar insurance companies that are going to be out of business. They're going to be out of business in 6 years.
Yeah, well, do you want me to continue? You want me to continue?
Go ahead.
You want me to continue?
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so you understand what monopoly finance capitalism is so far, right? You with me?
I don't agree with your assessment, but you go right ahead. Get your complete thought out so I can answer it.
Okay.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, I got you. Okay, now the second thing that you have to understand, we're in a different context now. This economy is now it's a global economy now. Do you know what a global economy is, sir?
I kind of think I can figure that one out, sir, but I need you to bring it to a point and give me a question or something that I can wrap my teeth around.
But see, sir, all I'm trying to say is that you're trying to talk about very complex issues in a very simplistic kind of way. And being simplistic doesn't get at it. And so what I'm trying to do is to get you to understand the complexity the issues that you're trying to bring forward. That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to allow me time to do that, so I understand. You got your platform, and that's fine. But all I want you to know is understand is that the situation that we're confronted with is much more complex than you're leading people to believe. And as far as communism, no, it's not communism. It's capitalism. That is why people suffer. That's why people on the streets. That's why people have jobs. People are homeless. But you don't want me to go into the mechanics behind that because I don't think.
Okay, take a breather. Let me get in here now, and then you come back. Okay. Now, it's actually free enterprise. Okay, because capitalism was a word coined by communists as a way to disparage free. Let me finish. As a way to disparage free enterprise, because in free enterprise, the worker is expected to receive a wage, correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
Right. That's right.
All right.
That's right.
The landlord is expected to receive rent, right?
That's right.
Okay. The person that produces and sells or leases manufacturing equipment is they have a right to receive their lease payment or the sale price of the equipment that enables us to engage in productivity. And I don't care whether that's a shovel or a backhoe. Correct?
That's right.
Now,
that's right.
if and I think all that's fair. Now, if the laborer expects a fair wage, if the manufacturer of equipment expects to be paid, if the landlord that owns, maintains, pays taxes on the real estate upon which the factory is built or where the farm is, if they can expect to be paid and they need to be paid, then why cannot the person that organizes all that what we call an entrepreneur, or what you would call, or what Marx and Engels derisively referred to as a capitalist, one who deploys capital intelligently? Now, why should not that person receive a thing called profit? Which, by the way, sir, in that equation is the only thing that's at risk, okay? Because the wage earner is not going to go to work on a promise that where we might pay you. He's going to say, well, I'll work for you for $10 an hour, $20 an hour, whatever. I don't care if it's $5 an hour. He's going to have a predetermined amount of for every hour he's going to be paid. The mortgage or the rent is going to be predetermined. The sale of the equipment is going to have a price on it. But it is the entrepreneur who takes capital that he has already accumulated, puts it at risk. He has no guarantee that he's going to receive a thing called profit. He may receive zero, break even. He may receive less than what he started with, lose money. He may make a thing called profit. But he makes the whole thing happen. Without the entrepreneur taking a risk, the guy with the job doesn't have a job. The landlord, his business property is sitting growing weeds. And the man who created the backhoe, no one can spend $20,000 for a backhoe, so people are stuck using shovels. You see the beauty and the power of the free enterprise system, sir?
Yes, sir. Can I just one real quick thing real quickly, sir?
Yes, sir.
Well, in reference to your earlier question, Adam Smith coined the term capitalism. He wrote a book called Wealth of a Nation. So if you get opportunity, please read that. I've
read that book.
Okay, now the capitalism that Adam Smith was talking about is not the same capitalism that's practiced today. Adam Smith understood in order for capitalism to work, that the government has to participate in the sense that once you unleash the powers of the corporations on the people, then they understand because corporations are driven by power and profit, then they will crush the average person.
What in the universe?
Let me finish. Can I finish?
Yes.
I didn't interrupt you.
Well, it's my program, sir, but come on, let's roll.
So government has a place in terms of protecting people against the power, of corporations. So let me ask one other final thing. I don't think you probably are not.
But hold on, let me answer that before, and then I'll give you one last shot. And then I gotta let you go. This thing of the government, you need government to protect the public from the power of corporations. What you need is competition to protect the public from the power of corporations. Case in point, high profits are a signal for the fact that there is an unmet need. And so if you have a company, corporation, or individual engaging in business with the public and they're making a profit margin of, say, 50%, then other capitalists who are doing things, either they have capital not at work or they have their capital deployed and they're making 5%, 10%, 20%, they might say, well, hey, wow, Sam over here, he's making 50%. Maybe we need to go and figure out what Sam is doing and we can undercut his price by 10%, and because we'd be happy to earn 40% profit, you see. And then another company comes along, they'll be happy to earn 30% profit. You see, because I can remember, sir, when a cell phone costs you $5,000, you can buy, they give them to you now, you can buy a cell phone for 99 cents. Okay, that's the power of competition. Prices come down. You do not need the government to protect you from capitalism. What has happened is that you have crony capitalism where they erect barriers to new entrants into a business or a profession. And what ends up happening is that a person has a monopoly, and so there's no one to challenge them to bring the price down. So the answer is less government, not more government.
Do you understand, Mr. Johnson? Do you understand what fascism is?
Fascism is what Obama and the insurance companies are doing right now. Okay, fascism is a partnership between big business and government. And so now they've been saying for all my lifetime that the Republicans love the rich and do everything for the rich. Democrats love the poor. But it's for the last several election cycles, the Democrats have raised more money from the wealthy and from Wall Street. As a matter of fact, I have right here on my desk, people talk about the Koch brothers. I mean, the Koch brothers, Koch Industries is number 59 for giving money to politicians. And you have all types of unions. The American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees gave $60 million. The Koch brothers gave $18 million. And you got a whole lot of people in between. The Koch brothers are number 59. It's their money. I don't care what they do with their money. That's their right. Just like George Soros, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, the two of the Walmart sisters, Chrissy, and I forget the other one's name. It's their right to donate their millions to Democrats and Democrat causes. And there's a guy out in California says he's going to donate $100 million to left-wing causes. Steyer is his name, Tom Steyer, a billionaire, a high-tech billionaire out in California. And so this is a myth that I'm going around, I'm destroying this myth that you need government to watch business because these are evil Republicans. And let me ask you this, who benefits most from poverty? Would a millionaire who has an item to sell you and they cost $1,000 each, would they make more sales to poor people, or does government benefit from poverty? Which one?
The corporations benefit from poverty.
Oh, so when you're poor and you don't have the $1,000 to buy their item, that benefits corporations? Okay,
Mr. Johnson,
you make the perfect case that we do not need to legalize marijuana. You've been smoking it.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson,
yes, sir.
One thing. Can I say one thing?
Please do.
Okay, listen. All right. I talk about fascism. Now, the textbook definition of fascism is corporations run amok. In other words, corporations have total control over everything.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, but
Mussolini was a fascist, and the corporations were not running Mussolini. It was Mussolini putting the boot of government on the necks of the business community, just like they did in the 2008 financial meltdown. The federal government went into all the banks, including the healthy banks. The healthy banks did not want to take the money. The government forced them to take it. They said because if the unhealthy banks take the money and you healthy banks don't take the money, the public will figure out which bank is healthy and which bank has been making bad decisions, and then they'll take their money out of the bad banks, put it in the good banks, and all the bad banks will fail. Well, that's what is supposed to happen in capitalism. When you screw up, you're supposed to fail. Fascism prevents that. Fascism prevents new entrants from being the competitor that might could take the old dog out. And so free enterprise, sir, is the antidote to fascism, is the antidote to crony capitalism. Free enterprise allows you, it allows me, it allows any new person to come up with a new idea to build a better mousetrap and then to put the old guy out of business who is no longer meeting the needs of the public. And but listen, I got to move, sir. It's been a great conversation with you. I appreciate your participation.
Oh, you take care.
Okay, God bless you. All right. Okay, yeah, open line, folks. If you would like to participate in the program, I appreciate the gentleman's participation there. But yeah, we are living definitely. This is, and see, all these isms are interrelated. Communism, socialism, fascism, crony capitalism. They all are the antithesis of freedom. All of them, they're the antithesis of freedom. I mean, remember now, see, Satan is subtle. Right there in Genesis, the serpent was described as the most subtle of the beasts of the field. So there's an animalistic side to Satan, but there's a subtlety to Satan. Okay, so Satan comes with arguments that sound good. Okay, and Satan is bold. Okay, tempted Jesus, said, look, I'll give you all of this. Took him way up on a mountain right at the beginning of his ministry and showed him all the kingdoms of the world, all the followers. I'll make them follow you, Jesus. You don't have to preach and convince them. Now, of course, Jesus knows that his Father gives us free will. And so we're supposed to convince our fellow man. We're not supposed to be like the all-powerful government that takes the heavy boot and puts it on your neck and forces you to do its will. You're supposed to convince. And so Satan tempted Jesus. Now, if he'll do that to Jesus, what will he do to you and I? And so just like at the beginning of Jesus' ministry, Satan whispered into his ear that if you just bow down to me, Satan, I'll give you all of this. I'll make them follow you. I'll make you wealthy. I'll make you powerful. But you have to bow down to the power of Satan. And of course, Jesus made him flee. But what? For a while. So Satan never stops. He never stops. He always comes back. And so this is where we are. We thought we had won the Cold War and the Soviet Union had capitulated, but here we go again. Okay? Why? Satan never stops. Satan never sleeps. Okay? And so anyone that preaches truth the way I preach truth, the way there are many people out here preaching truth, people all over this country, upset, angry. And my goal is to encourage those that are fighting to not be faint, not give up, to continue with the fight. This battle is not over. Sure, we're living under a communist country, but communism can fall. It's fallen before. But see, this is the key, folks. It's almost garden time. And my wife will tell you, I've been biting at the bit. Can't wait to get into my garden. Okay. And as a matter of fact, we're going to double the size of the garden we had last year. And I love it. But first thing I have to do, I have to dig the old garden up, and I have to do what? Get all the weeds out, because while over the winter there was no food was growing, but weeds were growing. And so you pull your weeds. What do you do next week? New weeds will sprout up. You have to pull them again. The following week, new weeds. Now, if you don't like the idea of every week or two, you have to go into your garden and pull weeds, you may as well not have a garden. You can't be a gardener. You can't be a farmer. You can't be productive. You can't do anything of good if you're going to allow the fact that a problem represents itself, maybe in another guise or another form, and then you have to address the same situation over again. Because, my friends, that's life. That's life. Even in the rearing of your children, in your marriages, in any human relationship, government to citizen, employer to employee, friend to friend, spouse to spouse, parent to child. mentor to protege. In any relationship, teacher to student, in any relationship, this is going to recur and this is going to have to be addressed again. Okay, even in just so many answers. Teach a child the right way to go. Teach a child the right way to go. And in their old age, they will not depart from it. Didn't say teach a child the right way to go and then sit back because you got it made. They're never going to depart from it. That's not reality. That's not reality. And so this is life, folks. We are where we are in the life and history of our nation, just like in our family life. And the nation is nothing more than 100 million families. That's what this, with 340 million people, that's what we are. We're 100 million families. And the same dynamics that govern a family, those dynamics govern the nation. Head of the family living a righteous life, not using drugs, out carousing, running around with all kinds of different sexual partners, communicating with the children, the leadership in the family, husband, wife, communicating with each other. That's what you call a strong family. Doing anything other than that, that's a family in disarray. That's a family that does not have the most universal unit of government throughout humanity. It does, and so that's a bunch of individuals. That's not even a family. And so then there's a need from someone up on high to come with a bunch of rules. And so people up here, these elite people that believe in communism, these elite people that believe in socialism, these elite people that believe in fascism, that statism, whatever you want to call it, where there are a group of elite that are not servant leaders, but self-interested leaders. They need to dumb you down. They need to divide you. Remember, conquerors divide, leaders unite. And so the principle of love is a principle around which people can unite. I love my wife. My wife loves me. I love my children. My children love me. I love my grandchildren. My grandchildren love me. They call me Grandpa Hatchet. I love that. But anyway, this is what's going to save the nation. It's that spirit of love. I love my nation. I love my community. I love the state of Virginia, low down as it can be sometimes. Onerous rules here in the state of Virginia. Onerous rules. Okay? Some idiotic people running it. Wickedness up at the top. A wicked governor. Totally wicked. Okay? But still, this is my home and I love it. And so that's the uniting principle. Remember, leaders unite. Conquerors divide. And so in every communist, fascist, socialist, well, not so much soft socialist, Fabian socialist, Western European socialism, but in the hardcore, what they all do, and Europe does this in small doses, but Russia, China, Cuba, Venezuela, the hardcore places, they do this in spades. Anything that can bring leadership, that can unite people into a place where they're self-sufficient and not in need of government and resentful for the heavy-handedness of government, they seek to destroy the family, the church. They seek to destroy independent business, anything that can unite you around a principle of love. See, Satan hates that. And so that's the type of country we live in now. And it's a sad fact, but it's a fact nonetheless. And so the thing with this Obama scam healthcare law, we'll focus in on that for a minute, because that's the big item that's been making the news lately. They're touting that it's this great success. And as I said in the beginning of the program, that all your tyrants came, none of them started out promising people, well, we're going to kill 20 million of you. I promise you we're going to kill X number of you, with one exception of Hitler. Okay, Hitler did. And not that that's funny, but I'm just saying that with that one exception. Now, but what they all end up doing, whether it's Hitler, Stalin, Mao, you go right on down the list, Pol Pot. Pol Pot killed 1/3 of his country. Okay, in the Ukraine, Hitler starved 8 million people in the breadbasket of Europe. Some of the most fertile soil in Europe is found in the Ukraine. Ukraine is the largest country in Europe that's all in Europe. Russia's bigger, but Russia's mostly in Asia. A large country, a country blessed with fertile soil, the breadbasket of Europe. 8 million people were starved to death. 10,000 per day were being starved to death. They were starving to death more people in Ukraine than Hitler was killing 6,000. It's mind-boggling, the evil that these people do. It's mind-boggling. I tell you, as I have to study these things, to be able to come before you, whether on the radio or in person or on television, however I have to, articles that I write, the research into this, it reveals a darkness that's so deep, that's so pervasive, that there's only one word appropriate to describe what it is, and it is evil. It is evil. And these people, they hate truth the way a cockroach hates when you turn the light on. The way a rat hates it when you make the least little sound, a rat is gone. And that's what these people are. They are evil. They are cockroaches. They are rats. They are the spawn of Satan. They hate everything that is good and pure. They don't want you teaching your daughter to save herself until she's married. They don't want strong families. They want your daughter. They want your sons. They want to hypersexualize them. They sell you the things to dress them up like prostitutes. The Girl Scouts, the head of the activities department in the Girl Scout, an open homosexual. The Boy Scouts finally relented to the homosexual lobby. They want to bend your little boys over. MAMLA, Man Boy Love Association. And they hate when you speak this truth. They hate it, okay? But I'm going to speak it. I'm going to speak it. And I'm going to speak it. Little bit from this book. The hatred that these people feel towards those who speak truth. 15th chapter of John. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love its own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. You see, Jesus knows they hated him because they hated his Father. And so we who do our humble best to follow Jesus, to speak truth to power, to show love and compassion to our fellow man, to unite people to fight this Leviathan, they hate us. They hate us. And so we're coming to the end of the program. We're going to cut away for 2 minutes while I share with you from the Lincoln Memorial that I did a couple of years ago. And then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap it up. And I want to thank you for being with us this evening. America, and thank you for joining us. My name is Craig Johnson, and many of you know me as Brother Craig, the Hatchet Man, host of The Really Real Deal on 1450 AM WCLM and on my blog talk show on blogtalk.com. But today I'm here at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial in a different capacity. I'm also president of the First Amendment, Inc., and we at the First Amendment, Inc. are fighting on a daily basis for the 6 freedoms contained in the First Amendment. We want you to know that we cherish this precious document, the freedom from religion, the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom to freely associate in peaceable ways, as well as the freedom to petition our government for redress. And we think all 6 of these freedoms are important, and all 6 of them are under attack on a daily basis. So won't you join with us at the First Amendment and become a partner? You can partner with us by going to our website, perusing our website, inviting us out to events, inviting us to your college campuses. We'll come to events large and small, and of course you can always support us. Well, we're coming to the end of our first week, and we want to say thank you again. I want to thank Akil. I want to thank the fine folks here at Comcast that make this broadcast possible. And there are many, many people that sow time and effort, and there are some that even sow money into what I do. And so I want to say thank you to all of them. And if you would like to be a participant, feel free. You can go to our website, the First Amendment, Inc., and there's a donate button there. Or you could simply put an old-fashioned check in the mail to 8604 Staples Mill Road, and the First Amendment, Inc., 8604 Staples Mill Road. And I want to leave you with this last word, and it's a famous quote from the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O America, who will not hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. I'm not going to do that. And my prayer, my fellow Americans, is that you not do that either. If you love your family, be the watchman on the wall of your family. If you love your community, be the watchman on the wall in your community. If you love your nation, be the watchman on the wall in your nation. I want to thank you for joining us, and we're going to see you here next week, same hatchet time. And also don't forget on 990 AM WLEE every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m., your friendly neighborhood hatchet man with the really real deal. Thank you again, Richmond. Good night.